There you go. This broadcast is live. Well, good evening, everyone, and how are you? I am Reverend Janet Reynolds. I am a certified spirit medium, and Blue Feather is my guide. I am here tonight to talk with you on Insight with Blue Feather, to read you a story that I have written and to talk about appreciation and trying to enjoy life for what it is, because sometimes it's not always that easy. And I have a good close friend here with me, Magda. Magda, how are you?
I'm doing well today. Got a lot done, so I feel like I'm ready to have a good conversation.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I'm ready to have good conversation too. So to start out, I would like to tell you all that I wrote this story 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and it is called More Than Restless Lockdown. It's in a book, and the name of the book is Create a Fire, Embers and Ashes, and the book is put out by the Life Enrichment Center in Tampa. It's a writing class that I belong to, and they put my story in their book, which I was really happy about. So, to get started, Magna, first tell them a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Magda Santos. I'm a healer. I'm in the Tampa Bay area, and I work with a lot of different kinds of people. Mostly, I've been doing a few ceremonies for people. We've had a lot of people in the past, and then it slowed down, and now again, I'm seeing more people that are coming to me who have a lot of anxiety and are feeling very nervous about their lives and the world that they're living in. So we do a lot of work with that, and in addition to that, I have some friends who love to do poetry. And so I hang out with them on Tuesday nights at this place called Hot Wax in
Ooh.
Ybor. And then they also they also go out to St. Pete and do some poetry reading out there. So, just trying to keep a balance in life and enjoying what I can and helping where I can.
Well, that's important because the one thing I do is I work at the Bodhi Tree on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, and that gets me out of the house, which I'm really I'm very happy about. I do readings there, and the traffic's been a little slow over there, so due to the fact the children are back in school,
Yeah.
which, of course, if you go out early in the morning, you hit the traffic
Mm.
because the children are back in school. So, but I would like very much to start this story, and then we can talk about some of the results that has come about from COVID-19. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I crawl out of bed at 6:20 this morning. Sometimes I sincerely do not know what part of my body doesn't hurt. It would be easier to say what doesn't than to say what does. Getting older is not what you want to think, and then again, it can be what you do think. I will say sometimes it's a pain, literally. As I go down the steps, my cat runs past my feet. Good thing I am holding onto the banister. Looking at her, I think she will be 16 years old July coming. The way she ran by me, it doesn't look like her body is bothered or in pain. I fix her breakfast and pour my first cup of coffee and head out to the patio. She is way ahead of me and is waiting for me to open the door rather than use her cat door. Walking toward the couch, I quietly look at the pond, for the water is moving so quietly. I sigh. I look up at the sky and I quietly say thank you. No matter what is going on in my crazy world, we are still locked down. It has been 6 weeks and nothing has changed. Reason being a virus epidemic outbreak called coronavirus. We are told to stay home. Do not leave unless necessary. I have experienced a lot of situations in my life and in my lifetime, but this one is getting to me. I get up and go for my second cup of coffee. It is so quiet and peaceful out here, you wouldn't think there was an epidemic or, let's say, lockdown, but there is. Do I sound frustrated? Or we could say restless? I sincerely want to scream, but I don't dare because I would probably wake up some of my neighbors, and I'm sure they don't need to be reminded that they are locked down also. So does that one paragraph bring you any memories?
Oh yeah. When we were asked to stay home, it was interesting to me that at first I realized that I was actually in a very privileged situation because I wasn't going out to work. I could stay home and do my work. I had to get a little creative. Doing healings on Zoom, for example, wasn't something that people did and talked about a lot. So, trying to put together different mechanisms to make sure that the work that I did was literally getting through. That was a little challenging, but very interesting, to do.
Yes.
And I was really surprised at realizing, for example, that even going to the grocery store, I don't go to the grocery store when there are a lot of people in there. And so I didn't have to worry too much about that. Um, it turned out that it didn't make that big a difference in my life, but I did see what it was doing to others, and I tried to help as much as I can. We started to make soup in my house and share it with our neighbors just to um, let them know that we were here and that we cared about them. Um, Sharing soup at first was not very good because everybody was scared. But
Yes. I was going to
after we
say,
realized that, you can't pass it on because we didn't know. We were all, in this place of how far can we go? How far can't we go? Who can we touch? Who can't we touch? And
yes.
so we got through it, and it turned out to be such a different experience for so many people that I know. I mean, totally different. I was working with a group online, and like 4 women, and one of them was completely alone in her home.
Yeah.
And her heart was so stressed and she was in such pain that it really did take the whole hour to help her find some little bit of peace and some maybe opening to be able to make it the rest of the way.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So hold with that thought, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, and I'll read the next paragraph.
Okay.
Okay, quiet down, I say as I sip on my cup of coffee. I look at my cat as she smacks her lips from breakfast. She's now sitting calmly, cleaning her coat of hair. Wow, I wish I was that calm, but I'm not a cat. I will remind her of how lucky she is. I wish life was so simple to where all we had to do is lick ourselves clean. That would be different. I think of my day. Okay, what am I doing today to stay within our rules made by the government? Oh, I forgot to call my British friend Val, I say. I look at the time. It's 7:30 a.m. here. So in England, it's 12:30 p.m. Great. I will call her today since I am already a day late. When she answers, I say, "How are you?" and "Sorry, I am a day late and $1 short." We laugh immediately. and then out of her mouth comes, "I have been locked down for 3 weeks now." I said, "Try 6." England did not move as fast as we did. She is weeding her garden at present and says it's keeping her busy, but that it is not enough. Of course, all of us are older, yes, but very energetic people, which of course can be good in one way and not so good in another. We can say the word is restless. I let her know how I cannot go get my nails done and how bad they look. The acrylic nails I had are all gone, and I am now down to the quick of each finger. I don't like it, but I can only do so much. My nails are thin and always have been. I tried growing them one time before, but needless to say, went back to acrylic. Since we are in the situation we are in, not knowing when lockdown will be over, she suggested almond oil on my nails at least 3 times a week. I said, "Great, I will try it." One thing good about best friends is we truly try to help one another. It was so much different over there for them than it was for us here. But
Yeah.
regardless of how we look at it, it was really a challenge. So, can you add to any of that?
Well, I remember having a really great conversation with someone about who were you during the pandemic, especially the lockdowns. Were you the same person that you that you recognize, or or did you change in certain ways, and how did you change, and what did you think about? Um, and it was interesting to ask that question of people, because I don't think that people really were paying attention to that. We were paying attention to so many other things and not even paying attention to ourselves. And I think that the pandemic and the lockdown and all these things really, if you took advantage of it, could show you who you are. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when everything is fine, everybody's cool, everything's okay. People act a certain way. And then when things get rough, when your favorite shampoo is no longer available, or you can't do your nails, or you can't see your mother who's in an ALF,
Yes.
who do you become? Who are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. Well, we could use one word and then I'll read my next paragraph. Angry would be a good word. A lot of people became very angry. Anxiety is another good word. Something that you don't think you have, but you do. You can get that because of the anger, the anxiety, and
Mhm.
it doesn't make it easy when you get in that mode,
Yeah. I
you
have a
know.
friend. I have a friend who always says that, and I've seen her go through some really tough times, like losing a sibling. And she always says, all I want to be able to do is, at the end of all of this, I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and still be happy about the person that I see.
Right, right. Okay, next paragraph. I look at the clock.
Sorry, it's kind of like a frog in my throat. I apologize.
Do you need some water?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I look at the clock. It's now almost 8 a.m. and my daughter is calling me using FaceTime. I say, "Great," and we talk for a bit. She is in Spain and has been locked down for almost 8 weeks and is homeschooling my grandchildren. She does it, but not always with ease. She lets me know the kids can go out on May 7th and play in the streets, yards, and playgrounds. She is looking forward to that. It has been a challenge, but she has survived it. I saw a picture of Joshua, my grandson, and his hair is in need of a cut. So that will be the first thing they will be doing once all is opened. I tell her I love her and we hang up. I look at the clock. It's now 8:15. Work out with my two friends at 9 a.m. So I had better get moving. Upstairs I go. My cat is right behind me. I smile. So easy to get attached. When making my bed, she and I play. I have to make her move as I pull the bedspread up. She lays there defiantly until I pull the covers over her head. Then she will move, but to the other side. I do it one more time, throwing the bedspread over her head, and she moves to the bottom of the bed where I no longer bother her. I get my gym clothes on next, and then I take a quiet moment to balance my chakras, which are energy centers running up our bodies from the spine to the crown of our head. I do this every day so I can stay positive and have no anger or fear. I send out love to all and ask for love back. I also ask for guidance and to keep me the good person I know I am. Part of my belief system that I learned from Shirley MacLaine 25 years ago. Down the steps I go, and guess who is in front of me? I smile once more as I watch her four legs run past me. Now, do you know the homeschooling for parents was really very, very hefty, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was listening to a newscast, and they were talking about how all of a sudden people realized how heroic teachers are and all that they do, and now how they have quickly forgotten that and are trying to put so many rules and regulations
Yeah,
on them. And so it's interesting. Again, who were you, and who are you
yes,
now? And so it's
yeah,
it's interesting to see that. But I also loved in your story that you were talking about your cat because, our animal friends, our furry friends are always so supportive. I mean, I should say most of the time are.
yes.
There are some out there that are working things out. I don't know what they're doing, but
I'm very attached to my cat,
yeah, yeah.
to that cat, and then to the new cat. Okay,
And they
there
make you
goes
feel,
an, huh?
oh, sorry. And
That's okay.
they make you feel that so much more is possible, I think. As you
Well, it
said.
really helped me to have her around through the process because unconditional love,
Mm,
and she wasn't upset with me. A lot of people got upset with a lot of people during this process for many reasons. Many reasons. It really it was a good experience, but it was a bad experience. Does that make sense?
yeah, it had some good and it had some bad. That definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
I realized during that time that some people became leaders, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
and tried to bring people together. And then there were other people that were in just too much pain and they really just couldn't even participate in the smallest of things. And
No.
then there were others who, as you said, became extremely angry, um, and decided that their way or the highway.
Yeah. It was there was a lot to it. There really was. Next paragraph. There goes a knock on the door, and I open it up for Bonnie as the phone rings for FaceTime with Randa. We all sign in with much conversation, and then we calm down and start working out. We do not have masks or gloves, only because Bonnie and I feel we are okay, and Randa is on FaceTime. Thank God for technology. After 40 minutes of workout, we are finished. It was a good workout using weights, ropes, and going up and down the stairs. It's amazing how a simple workout can do so much. It helps let go of stress, and you forget you are locked down until Bonnie goes to leave. You cannot hug one another. You just move away. You can give one another the elbow, and that's it. Imagine touching elbow to elbow. Weird, wouldn't you say? But better than no connection at all. And that was one of the hardest things for me because I learned how to hug from church 40 years ago when I became a minister. And I love to hug my clients, I love to hug people, and we couldn't even hug.
Yeah, that was very hard since I'm Puerto Rican, truly.
Yes.
We hug all the time. Or most Puerto Ricans do, at least my family. But, I know that we're on a platform that actually talks a lot about relationships. And I think that there were really interesting things that were going on with relationships during this whole time. I remember somebody saying that they got together with someone as quickly as they could because then they were going to be locked down and they didn't want to be locked down by themselves. So people were going out with each other, very quickly. They were making decisions very quickly, and then they were hanging out together throughout this pandemic. So I thought that was really curious, how people were like, yeah, we're going to get together so we can, stay with each other during this, this lockdown, so I don't have to be alone. So I can have somebody
Yeah.
with me,
Yes.
and the lockdown and the pandemic has brought us a lot of new things. People's relationships have been growing and changing. People are asking more of themselves, maybe, than actually seeing everything on the outside, and looking for someone out there. They've been looking a lot inside too. And I think that's going to make for better relationships.
Well, another thing it did too is the divorce rate got higher from people having to stay home that were married so much together and they weren't used to it. It caused a lot of grief. It really did. So once more, it had its ups and it had its downs.
Yeah.
So.
And they're saying that we're back at people not, the divorce rate is low again because of economics. So there was a sociologist that talked about the pandemic, and I never thought about a sociologist talking about a pandemic. We always think of doctors or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about the fact that pandemics have an actual, series that they go through. And I didn't know that, so I was really interested. And so he said the first part is where everybody's unsure and scared, and you're doing all kinds of things to try to keep yourself safe, and all kinds of difficulties happen, whether it's information coming or not coming, whether it's a vaccine yet or not having a vaccine, and all of that uncertainty and how people deal with it. And then he says, then there's like the middle part, which we're kind of in now, he says. And this is the part where we are trying to deal with all of the things that are the repercussions of what happened in the first phase. So all of the economic problems, all, the 1 million people or more that are dead now, what you do with, the education system when, everybody was trying to homeschool their kids or using their computers with their kids, and now the kids are going back to school, and how is that going to work, and what are we going to do about that, and teachers not wanting to go back to work, and teachers retiring early, and all of these different things that have happened with, the supply chain. We all got crazy with that for a while, and it goes on. And he says, this is the time that's going to be us trying to pull everything back together, trying to keep things going. And then he says we're a little lagging behind because we didn't do the first phase the way it's normally done. Now we're doing sort of catch up. And then I like this part the best. He said the next piece, the third piece, is us having a party because it's kind of
there you
all
go.
done. We've done it, and we're we're back to some kind of place that feels a little bit more comfortable, and maybe we've learned something. That would
Yes.
be the big cherry on the top. We've learned something.
I do believe we have learned a lot, or I can say this, I have learned a lot. Next paragraph. I sit down, catch my breath, and look at the time. 9:45. I need to go to the store, so I gear myself up with gloves and mask. I understand we need to be protected when leaving our home, so I do this to prevent catching any germs of the virus. I do it also because the government tells us to do it. When I have the mask on, it feels like it is smothering me. It reminds me of our lockdown. I shake it off, but it still makes me nauseous. I'm walking down the vitamin aisle in Walmart looking for almond oil, and of course, I have mask and gloves on. There is a man walking very close, excuse me.
Oh, but looks like we lost
Wait one
our
minute.
gal there for a second. There she goes.
Yes. I love a cat.
Was that the cat?
Huh? Yeah,
Was that the cat?
That's what was doing it, the cat.
What's your
Yes.
cat's name? Tell us your cat's name.
Her name is Airy.
Airy.
Airy, and she's just really, she's airy, I'm telling you. Anyway, I'm walking down the vitamin aisle in Walmart looking for almond oil, and of course I have mask and gloves on. There's a man walking very close to me down the aisle, and I try to move further away. He does not have a mask or gloves on, and that bothers me. He starts talking to me, asking me what am I looking for, and I feel he is sad and lonely. I try to move further down as I answer him. Almond oil, I say, and you? Zinc, he says, but I don't see it. It's good for the heart. And then he continues to let me know that almond oil could be in the cooking aisle. I said, thank you. I never gave that a thought. And I moved away again as he closes in. He finally leaves, and I let my breath out. Would y'all like to see my cat?
Yes.
Oh, here she is.
Is Ari?
Yes.
Hi. Ooh, a tuxedo.
Oh, she's got long feet, let me tell you.
Yeah. Is she tall? Is she tall?
She's going to be, yes, very tall, long legs.
Yeah.
So, okay, here we go. I said, thank you. I never gave that a thought and moved away again as he closes in. He finally leaves, and I let my breath out. I'm sure he's not happy with being locked down, but he should at least have a mask on. I finish getting the groceries needed and go to checkout. Everyone was 6 feet or better in the line, and they had masks and gloves on. So did the cashier. When I get outside, I remove my mask and take many deep breaths. I look at my clock in the car as I get in. It's 10:50, and I think to myself, good, I have two clients coming to my home for a reading at 12. That will give me time to put groceries away and settle down. I am an intuitive counselor, spirit medium, so readings are my line of work. I am happy they are coming because financially it's needed. My business has suffered some, or I could say quite a bit. Not everyone is working at present, so confirmation and insight from a spirit medium is not always needed. As I open the door to my clients, my mask and gloves are on. Needless to say, they have Clorox wipes, disinfectant for doorknobs, and of course, masks on. I let them in and know we cannot hug or get close. I know these clients well, and it is considered repeat business for me. It's sad we cannot hug, so I say, what is this world coming to? I am upset, but try not to show it. We laugh at our appearance, and I say, oh, well, let's get down to business. When I finish and we say goodbye, I could cry. Once more, we cannot hug, but what we do is elbow to elbow. It is not the same, but it helps because it is a form of touch. We laugh and I say, next time. It is now 1:30. Whatever am I going to do next? I'm locked down. I keep saying, forget that. Let's do something. I pick up my pencil and get paper and start writing. I get rid of more stress, and now that I am finished writing, I feel much better. I say, I am locked down, but not locked up.
There you go. That sounds good.
Yes. You know, I mean, look at what all we went through. But I feel that, you know, it wasn't a good experience, no, but it taught all of us so much.
I hope we remember. I hope we remember. Someone once said that our culture here in the United States, we're sort of like all have like Alzheimer's. You know, we don't remember what happens for very long. So I'm hoping we remember these. I'll call them lessons.
I don't feel that I will ever forget. Do you feel you'll forget?
You know, people do. You know, they try to go back to quote unquote normal. And if they get to normal, they will forget. They will.
Yeah. Wow.
You know? I mean, 100 years ago, we had, you know what, the 1918 epidemic that took so many people. Mm-hmm. And we really didn't have much that we learned from it. We really, if we did, we didn't use much of it. So, you know what I mean? I don't think that, I don't think we're really going to, we had the AIDS epidemic. We didn't really learn very much from that either. We just continue to alienate ourselves from people sometimes because, you know, we don't like who they are. And so we decide, well, let's stigmatize them, or sometimes we're just, you know, angry and, you know, we don't want to, you know, follow, you know, a societal plan.
Wow. I'll tell you what. I just hope that people understand that it has gotten better. It has gotten somewhat better, but it's taken a toll on a lot of businesses. It's taken taken a toll on quite a bit. So,
and I think the important thing is to try to support each other, you know, and see how we can. Well, now we can hug, right? So
yes,
let's give a lot of hugs out. Let's hug everybody now.
Yes, I am so grateful for that. I love it when my clients leave and I get a hug from them. So yes, we can hug. We don't have to wear masks or gloves. We still do have to be careful in our own little way because it's still out there. But people are getting together more. People are talking. Families are getting better with one another. They're accepting family members that did get the shot or who did not get the shot. So that part of it is getting better. So I'm glad for that. Even with friends don't get near friends if they didn't get the shot, and that can be very hurtful. But I'm just really very thankful for everything. I really am. And I know you are, right?
I am. Oh, and I have to say, that was quite a story. You're quite a writer.
I like to write sometimes. I really do. I do. I have 3 stories in 3 different books. So I think that part's really good.
Yeah.
But I wanted to tell y'all one more thing before the show is over. There was one thing that my grandmother taught me, and that saying was, I met an old man who had no shoes, and then I met an old man who had no feet.
Mm.
So I would say to y'all to think about that, because we're really very, very fortunate in so many ways. And it's just a matter of appreciating what we have or what we don't have. It's a matter of working with everything. It's a matter of, okay, if we can't do this, then we've got to go do something else, right? And that's not easy. So,
Yeah. Us people, we're not very easy.
no, it's not. So, but I'm so glad you came on tonight. I guess maybe I should tell everybody. Does anyone have a question? If you do, you can call me here at the house, 813-814-1601. And I can also answer that question, because I was going to answer it when it was ringing, but I thought I'd better not. So it was a good thing that I didn't, because it was a spam.
Yeah.
So,
I wanted to ask you before we go, hopefully we have at least a minute or something,
we
what does
have
blue,
5 more minutes.
oh, good. I wanted to find out what Blue Feather thought of all of this.
Well, he did say that it was a means of the population had to go down.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one reason why that came about. But it was to teach people about family also, to help for the families that weren't getting along, to somehow or another to show them that they needed to work with one another a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I really believe, it taught all of us quite a bit.
Yeah. I think I saw some of that, some families coming together and becoming stronger. I actually have a younger sister, and I love her very much, obviously. I'm much older than she is. I'm 8 years older than she is. And I asked her for a sister day once a month. And, at first I wasn't sure of how she was going to take that, because she's always so busy, and she's always doing all kinds of things. And, she has family and a house and, all those other obligations that we all have. But she said yes. And now we meet the second Sunday of the month, and we come up with something to do. And the latest one was she wanted to go on a scavenger hunt. And I think she wanted to go to one in Tampa, but I challenged her a little bit and I said, have you ever heard of geocaching? And she was like, no, I haven't. And I was telling her that what happens is that people hide things in the woods. This is the short version, okay? People hide things in the woods and other people try to find them. So it's a lot of fun. You can, when you get used to it all, you can hide something in the woods, and hopefully people will find it.
That's not a bad idea. That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
I think they use GPS pretty much. That's kind of most of what they do. They use GPS, but you have to hide it in such a way that you might get to the location, but then you really have to figure out, now where could they have put this?
So.
I
enjoyed our walk. Remember when we did the walk through?
Yeah.
I enjoyed that so much. Yes. I really did. That has really helped. That really does help when
Yeah.
you go through and listen to the quiet, if you want to call that quiet, the leaves and the woods and everything. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, and
So,
the trees, and having time with them. They are some incredible beings, those trees, and so they have a lot to say and a lot to give. So
and